Where Fear Ends, a Buddha reflection. I used to think peace would arrive once life finally became certain. Once the fear stopped, once the storm passed. But the more I tried to control everything, the more exhausted my mind became. Then slowly, through the Buddha's way of seeing, I began discovering something unexpected. The stillness I was searching for was never waiting at the end of the storm. It was quietly present inside it all along. The place you keep leaving. There are nights when your own mind feels impossible to sit beside. A conversation repeats itself. A fear about tomorrow tightens the chest. Even silence feels restless because part of you keeps searching for escape. The Buddha understood this movement deeply. Suffering was not only inside pain itself. It was also inside the constant attempt to outrun pain. The heart of the mind pulled away from uncertainty, the more exhausted it became. But what if peace is not found by escaping the storm? What if it appears when you stop running long enough to notice the stillness already inside it? Learning to stay. Most people think strength means avoiding discomfort. The Buddha pointed toward another kind of strength entirely. The strength to remain present when life becomes uncertain. A tree survives heavy wind because it bends. Water survives because it does not demand one permanent shape. In the same way, meditative endurance is not rigid. It is the quiet ability to stay awake without collapsing. You begin to see this while sitting with grief instead of numbing it, or breathing through anxiety without immediately distracting yourself. Each moment of staying teaches the heart something simple and profound. Fear changes, awareness remains. The fear of open space. The awakened heart stops clinging to fixed ground and learns to move with life itself. The mind craves certainty because uncertainty feels dangerous. You can feel this in the need to control outcomes, predict the future, or protect every identity you have built. But the Buddha saw that life itself is movement. Bodies age. Plans dissolve. Relationships shift. Trying to freeze experience creates endless strain. The Heart Sutra points directly at this truth. Nothing stays fixed. And strangely, this is not a punishment. It is freedom. Like a river that cannot be held still. Life softens when you stop demanding permanence from it. Gone beyond. The mantra of the Heart Sutra has guided human beings through fear for centuries. It is a direct instruction on how to move through uncertainty. Not by fighting it, but by surrendering to its flow. Gone, gone, gone beyond. These words are not asking you to escape life. They are asking you to loosen your grip on the illusion that life must become controllable before you can feel safe. First, you release the need to control the world around you. Then, the need to control every thought and feeling inside you. Slowly, another kind of intelligence appears. Not control, trust. Trust that this breath is enough for this moment. Trust that awareness can remain steady even when life cannot. The storm in the sky. Fear convinces you that something terrible is happening to your deepest self. But the Buddha invited careful observation. Clouds move through the sky without harming the sky. Waves rise across the ocean without damaging its depth. Thoughts and emotions move through awareness the same way. You may glimpse this during meditation, grief, or exhaustion. Beneath the movement of the mind, there is a stillness quietly watching everything. The mind notices the storm first. Practice teaches you to notice the sky too. And when this becomes clearer, fear loses some of its authority. Not because pain disappears, but because awareness itself is larger than what passes through it. The relief of letting go. Peace appears when the heart stops demanding certainty from impermanent things. Much suffering hides inside bargaining. I will relax once this changes. I will trust life once I feel secure. I will be whole once the future becomes clear. The Buddha saw how exhausting this negotiation becomes. Every moment gets compared to an imagined better one. But surrender is not defeat. It is the intelligence to stop asking unstable things to provide permanent safety. Like placing down a stone you forgot you were carrying. Letting go feels strange at first, then suddenly lighter. The breath deepens, the nervous system softens, presence becomes possible again. The courage to remain. Meditative endurance is not becoming calm all the time. It is learning how to remain conscious during difficulty without abandoning yourself. It looks ordinary from the outside. Sitting quietly with loneliness. Listening fully to another person. Breathing through fear instead of immediately reacting. The Buddha understood that resistance often hurts more than pain itself. The fear of sadness becomes heavier than sadness. The fear of uncertainty becomes more exhausting than uncertainty. So the practice becomes simple. Stay with the breath. Stay with the trembling. Stay long enough to discover that awareness can hold it. The wisdom of Sangha. There are moments when your own story becomes too heavy to carry alone. The Buddha knew this deeply. This is why he placed Sangha, spiritual community, at the center of the path. A true Dharma friend does not remove your suffering. They remind you not to disappear inside it. Sometimes this happens through simple presence. Someone sits beside you without trying to fix everything. Someone reminds you gently that fear changes, confusion changes, exhaustion changes. Isolation makes suffering louder. Honest companionship softens it. And slowly you realize something important. Everyone struggles, everyone forgets, everyone begins again. Mirrors of compassion. Walk beside those who help you remember your own clear seeing. Real compassion includes honesty. A Dharma friend may notice when fear is disguising itself as wisdom, or when craving is hiding beneath spiritual language. Not to shame you, but to help you wake up. Relationships built only on comfort often collapse during hard seasons. But relationships rooted in truth deepen through difficulty. The Buddha understood that wisdom grows relationally. Every time you sit beside another person's suffering without turning away, your own heart widens. Like trees sharing strength through hidden roots beneath the forest floor. Human beings survive through invisible exchanges of care. And slowly vulnerability stops feeling like weakness. It becomes part of what makes genuine connection possible. The urgency of the mind. Part of the mind keeps whispering that everything should already be resolved. Healing should happen faster. Answers should arrive sooner. Pain should disappear immediately. The Buddha saw how much suffering comes from this urgency. Not only from pain itself, but from demanding that pain move differently than it moves. A seed underground does not panic because spring has not arrived yet. Rivers do not rush toward the ocean. Yet human beings often treat healing like a deadline. When urgency loosens, presence returns. You stop fighting imaginary timelines and begin caring for this moment directly. And slowly another understanding appears. Healing was never waiting somewhere in the future. It was always happening here. The illusion of time. The mind treats past and future like solid places. But the Buddha pointed towards something radically simple. The past appears now as memory. The future appears now as imagination. Life itself only unfolds here. Fear survives by pulling awareness away from the present. It creates futures out of incomplete information, then convinces the body those futures are already real. But standing beside the ocean, you cannot hold yesterday's wave or tomorrow's wave. You can only meet the water touching the shore now. This realization softens the obsession with rushing. If reality only ever arrives now, peace cannot be postponed into some future moment. The doorway has always been here. The freedom of groundlessness. When you stop demanding guarantees from life, the heart discovers a wider freedom. At first, uncertainty feels frightening because the mind wants fixed ground. But certainty can become a prison too. Closed rooms feel safe until you realize there is no fresh air inside them. The Buddha's wisdom does not erase the unknown. It teaches you how to stand inside the unknown without panic. Every meaningful part of life emerges from uncertainty. Love, creativity, transformation, awakening. The Heart Sutra reminds you that freedom begins when the heart stops demanding permanent stability from a changing world. You still care deeply, you still act wisely, but your peace no longer depends entirely on controlling outcomes. The presence beneath fear. The deepest fear is often the fear that nothing stable will remain if life changes completely. But the Buddha invited observation. Throughout your life, countless versions of yourself have already disappeared. Childhood identities faded, old beliefs changed, roles came and went. Yet awareness remained present through all of it. Meditative practice slowly reveals that you are not only the changing contents of experience. You are also the awareness noticing them. When fear rises, you begin observing its movement directly. Tightness in the chest. Fast thoughts. Heat moving through the body. And strangely, the more clearly fear is seen, the less completely it controls you. Awareness creates space around experience. Inside that space, another kind of fearlessness quietly appears. The strength to hold others. As your relationship with suffering changes, your relationship with other people changes too. When you stop fleeing your own discomfort constantly, you become more capable of sitting beside another person's pain without panic. The Buddha's compassion emerged from understanding suffering directly. He could remain present because he no longer demanded that reality become something else. You begin noticing this in ordinary moments. Listening without interrupting. Remaining calm beside someone else's fear. Offering presence instead of quick solutions. This kind of stillness spreads naturally. Not through preaching, but through the quality of your attention. And perhaps this is one of the deepest purposes of practice. Not becoming spiritually superior. Becoming profoundly human. The stillness that was never harmed. Within the changing storm of life, there remains a stillness untouched by fear. Eventually, you begin seeing clearly that spiritual practice was never about becoming perfect. It was about becoming available to life. Storms will continue visiting human existence. Loss will come. Uncertainty will return again and again. But something changes when you stop demanding permanent safety before allowing yourself to live fully. You begin trusting awareness more than fear. And slowly the heart realizes something it sensed all along. The stillness you were searching for was never absent. It was present during every season of confusion. Present during every heartbreak. Present even while fear moved through the body. Like the open sky untouched by passing weather, awareness itself remained unharmed. This is not a belief to cling to. It is something discovered directly, breath by breath, as you learn the art of staying. And when you can stay present inside your own suffering without running, you gain the strength to hold others too. This is the strength the world needs most. A calm heart inside uncertainty. A gentle mind inside change. A presence willing to trust life without demanding guarantees. This is Buddha Reflections, where philosophy, insight, and lived experience meet to explore mind, impermanence, and release. The conversation doesn't end here. Visit the quiz tab and share your score in the comments. Thanks for your time, it's been a delight. What should we explore next? Comment, share, and save your insight. Subscribe to Orbital Dharma and keep your thoughts bright.